Hi, and welcome to today's episode. We're Keith and Melissa.
Welcome. Today we want to talk about our thoughts as they relate to our photography business. What are the circumstances of your business right now? What are some of the thoughts that run through your mind about your business? Some are conscious and most are unconscious, or the meaning that we give these thoughts about our circumstances may not even be recognized. For example, your circumstance might be that you want to raise your prices. You're afraid, or you want to start a photography business, but you haven't yet. Or maybe you haven't made as much money in your photography business as you would like to. For demonstration, I'm going to pick the circumstance or the fact that you haven't made the amount of money you wanted to in your business. Let's pick a factual number. Say you've made only $25,000 this year and you wanted to make $50K. So you've made $25,000 less than you wanted to. So the circumstance isn't a vague statement about your number, it is an actual number. And the thoughts that run through your head when you think that you've made 50% less than you wanted to at this point in the year are, maybe, every other photographer has it figured out, or I'm so busy, I can't do it all. I hate doing social media, I'm overwhelmed. I've tried everything and nothing works. There are too many photographers in my area, and I can't stand out. I can't raise my prices. No one is booking me. These thoughts circulate in your mind consciously and unconsciously. But at this very moment, since we now know it is a fact that you have made $25,000 less than you wanted to at this point, we can't change that. But we can change your thoughts about the circumstance. When you think every other photographer has it figured out, or I've tried everything and nothing works, these thoughts don't serve you. They are negative. What do you do when you have these thoughts about your business not being half as busy as you hoped? I'm guessing that you start feeling disappointed, nervous, maybe you need this money to pay your bills, you're scared, you're angry, or you're just plain frustrated, and you're tired of putting in all this effort and not getting the results you want. Your thoughts combined with your feelings then create the actions you take. Right at this moment, if I asked you what actions you take when you have the thought about making $25,000 less, and I'm going to pick frustrated. What happens when you're feeling frustrated? Maybe you stop posting on socials. Maybe you stop doing anything that could help your business move forward. Maybe you buffer by not working or doing work that does nothing to help you make more money. You avoid taking action that could actually help your business. You may even do absolutely nothing. Do you see how your current thinking can create more of the same results? Since your circumstance is a fact, we can't dispute that you made $25,000 less, but how we think about it is subjective. If you asked someone else and said that you made $25,000 in your photography business this year, there might be a lot of others impressed that you were able to do that. They might look up to you and want to know how you're able to make so much money. It's subjective. If you polled a bunch of people, some would think you were killing it and others would think not so much. Often we have a circumstance, keeping with this example, I made $25,000 less than expected, and you think your feeling of disappointment or frustration comes from that fact. But it actually comes from your thought that, quote, I've tried everything and nothing works. Clearly something is working if you did make $25,000. So it's your thoughts around not making the other half of the 50 you wanted that are causing these negative thought patterns. Since these feelings might cause you to stop taking action for your business, or not taking the right action for your business, you can see where I'm going here. If you choose a different feeling, say you were hopeful, which in turn would cause you to choose different actions. Maybe showing up in a positive way, working on your business, choosing different actions that will lead to different results. So what is this long-winded monologue about? I'm sure Keith's asking that question right now. That we need to start recognizing the role that our thoughts play in the overall success of our business. I know when you think about making $25,000 less than you wanted to, it is easy to think that this outcome is out of your control. It's other photographers' fault, it's the economy's fault, it's AI, it's your fault. To change the results in your business, we must work from a cognitive space. We have to get to the root of your thinking around your business and start evolving it so that you can create the results you want. What I'm suggesting here is that you start recognizing thoughts that don't support you and your business. You are attached to your negative thoughts because they prove the outcome, almost like an excuse. A reason why your business isn't doing that extra $25,000. What if we had more empowered thoughts? Change the negative to the positive. Can you see what I'm trying to point out? That if you choose better thoughts, you will get different results. These stories you tell yourself, this is what is preventing you from making the other 25,000. Remember, you get what you focus on, and if you focus on what is going wrong instead of what is going right, you just get more of the same. Becoming self-aware and noticing these thought patterns is an integral part of getting the results in your business that you want. Me, myself, is that I created my reality because of my thoughts. This was so powerful for me when I understood this. I believe my own stories about what was possible, or really, my thoughts were mainly focused on what wasn't possible. Think of it like a little box that you're in, or that I was in. I could only see the reality of the four walls I had around me. I couldn't see past this. I couldn't see that if I stopped telling myself stories, stopped blaming others and other things, if I had only stopped to look at the facts and not what feelings that I had attached to my thoughts about the facts, that it was how I interpreted the facts that would impact the success of my business. Look at this little shift. A more positive thought would be, I haven't made the other $25,000 yet. It is one little word, yet. So now we start thinking of what we need to do to make the other 25,000. We start to take action. By shifting these thoughts, we start seeing possibilities that we may never have thought of. So if we want to focus on getting the result, we have to change the way we think and feel. Ladies and gentlemen, you get to choose what you focus on, so let's change our focus. Okay, so I think my rant went on long enough. Now let's talk about our business. Let's go back to when you first started. Can you think of an example, or even not first started, but just a solid example where maybe the way you were thinking about our business? Or
Well, yeah, again, even before it was our business, when it was my business, I can just always think that it's hard. You get in, again, there are some people that just get in and just kill it from the beginning. A lot of us go in with the thinking, okay, we have a good intention on doing this thing, but then there's just so much doubt and fear. Like, okay, well, let's say I started off in New York. Well, it's a saturated market. There's a lot of really, really world-class photographers there.
that was your thought, right?
That was my thought. How am I going to break in? Of course, years later, we moved out to Arizona and thinking, well, I'm going to, at first, I'm like, oh, I'm coming from New York. I'm going to own this place. Then I recognize there's a lot of people there, and they're talented too. But then again, their businesses are already established. Then there's a bunch of them.
See, but that's interesting because you had a thought in New York where there's so many people.
Yeah.
How will I break through? Then almost like the opposite thought. You're
I'm
super confident.
Super confident, and then only to hit that wall of doubt again, because now you're in a smaller market, so you don't need as many people to saturate it.
True.
So again, it's all relative. It's all proportionate. So what I think over time, one of the things that got me out of it repeatedly, because you can easily sink back into negative thoughts. One of the things I always think about is that every one of those super successful people in those saturated markets got in at a time when it was a saturated market with tons of talented people. Like they didn't just pop in. Like they weren't always there either. So every time you get in, it's already full. Like you're not getting into an empty pool. You're getting into a full pool. So you just have to make your own room. And everybody that's there before you, everybody that you look up to, did the exact same thing. They all had to make space for themselves. They all got in, whatever their mindset was, they got in a spot where, okay, how am I going to differentiate myself? Because there's so many, throughout the history of this medium, any medium, there have been, except maybe in the exact beginning of these things, a bunch of people that know what they're doing, are very, very good at it, and don't want you to be their competition. So
what's the secret sauce? So then when you changed the feeling that you had when you arrived in Arizona, you were confident.
Yeah, I was overconfident is what I was. And that didn't initially serve me well. It did. Sometimes it did. Because I got to meet people, and again, meeting people and getting out there, and now.
Well, these are the actions you took.
The action steps were to go out there and not just sit behind and think, wow. Because I've sent out a few emails announcing that the guy from New York is coming into the market, and just beat down my door. It doesn't work that way. So I had to get out. And again, kind of the old-fashioned way, and meet people face to face, and just get my name out there. And it was a whole new market with a ton of talented people that were already filling the pool. I needed to make my space, so I did, and it worked. And again, every time I started to doubt myself, and that comes frequently, you just have to think that you have a right to be in that pool. And
Right.
and that all the people that have come before you and done it well had to face the same challenges.
And
So
it's like the North Star we spoke of, I think, in last week's podcast. If you didn't have your eye on the prize, like you have to keep pushing. And that comes with, I think, the feeling that you could do it and that you were going to do, you were determined maybe at that point. Maybe
yeah,
that would be.
well, determination is definitely a key component, but yeah, and you have to. It's imperative that you know where you want to go. Again, or at least a certain point. You might not even
Well,
imagine.
that ball keeps, I mean,
Yeah, that just keeps
goalpost
rolling
keeps
as
moving.
and it should keep moving because you never want to get to the exact end. Like you don't want to cross that goal line because that means you have nothing left to achieve, and at that moment is when everything starts to rush past you, and that's when like
A
suddenly
lot of people.
you start to stagnate, and once your business just doesn't evolve anymore. So you never actually want to achieve. You just want to keep setting goals farther and farther out. Not so far out that was going to you just go, oh my God, I'll never get there, but far enough out that was going to, it makes you have to work for it. I've seen way too many people that have hit their goal, and that's it. They're just so happy that they hit their goal that they then wonder, why is it that everybody is now let's go out doing something else, but I'm still here doing what I did for the last 20 years and doing it the exact same way at the exact same level. Again, just keep moving. The idea is it's kind of like people that diet. And they're like, oh my God, I just binged, and I'm like, oh, I just threw my entire diet off. Forget it. I'm never gonna, it's never gonna work for me. I'm just gonna sit with a tub of ice cream and call it a day. Same thing with business. It's very, very analogous. If you don't hit the marks that you set for yourself, keep working. There's things that will get in the way, things you didn't notice, things you didn't see. There's, again, various forces that might slow down your progress, but slowing down your progress doesn't mean stopping your progress, because that's not progress, obviously. Yeah. So the point, I think, to your point is, at least to my point, is that you just have to keep going. What's good if you have
Yeah, but I think some people, including myself, I mean, I struggled with like negative thought patterns. So I can keep going, but if keep going in a negative direction, like where I can't recognize that I'm keeping myself limited. I kept myself limited for years, even within our business. I was the one fighting against price increases and things like that because I didn't believe in it myself. So I was limiting our business. So those thought patterns were things that I had to break away from. I mean, that was not serving our business. You always have the confidence in your pricing. You always have the confidence in your photography. You may have had imposter syndrome in other areas, but when it came to pricing our products and getting out there, like you always had that unwavering confidence, where I definitely had limiting beliefs around, will people pay this? Like, who's going to hire us? Like, why would they want to pay this girl from Worcester, that much money to shoot her wedding? And like these beliefs that came with me from childhood. And you had limiting beliefs in other areas, or maybe, like you said, some imposter syndrome, like coming in cocky from New York to Phoenix and then realizing like, oh shit, there's a lot of other good photographers here. And then it's almost like a limiting belief sneaks in. But I think that it's the negative thoughts that create these stories that we tell ourselves about our business and in our lives. That we're stuck in this little tiny little area where we have to charge $50 for a shoot and burn mini session, or we can't raise our prices from $5,000 to $10,000 for weddings, or wherever you've just been conditioned to think that this is the ceiling and I can't. I'm here and I'm in my lane and I'm not going to.
Yeah, again, and I think that's there's a lot of people, but it's just a matter that you have to
recognize it.
You've got to recognize that you have to have a soul searching moment. You have to go, okay, like the boring part of business, you have to look and see what's working, what's not working, and then start figuring, okay, well, why isn't it working? Frequently, not all the time, but frequently, the fault lies in us.
Well, we are the ones in the mirror.
We are the ones, we are in our own way more often than not. All these different things can be crippling. Again, just using imposter syndrome is something that everybody seems to be talking about, that it can really, really debilitate you if you don't get past the fact that there's an ass for every seat. Again, just because somebody else does, and you also don't have to compare yourself directly to it. It's a horrible thing to compare yourself directly to people.
Comparison traps and
Yeah.
stuff.
Again, compare to for inspiration is one thing, but to sit there and go, I frequently like, well, why is this person's business? Why are they making this? Why? Oh my God, that person's work is beautiful. And then I started thinking to myself, wow, maybe I've hit my ceiling, and I didn't even belong here to begin with. But with some reflection and going back over my work in particular, I would think, wow, I actually do like what I do. Like I do have value. My work does not look like the people whose work inspires me, but it's not supposed to. I can appreciate that and never ever want to shoot it. I'm like, it's not who I am. I have to be me. And once I recognize that what I actually do like, I'm not just doing this like for again, painting by numbers here. Anyway, I digress. But in general, you have to really appreciate your own work. If you don't appreciate it, nobody else will.
It's belief in yourself.
It's belief in yourself. And say your belief in your ability to earn.
Exactly.
So if you get this off the artistic and get this back onto the business part, the belief in your ability to earn.
But the core, I think, of what we're going to start laying out is that it starts with believing in you. Yep. You are the one in the mirror, that you are in charge of your own decisions. You are the one who decides how you're going to think about your business, how you're going to show up every day, how you go after the results that you want for your business. The main takeaway that I want from this dialogue that we just had is that you are at the center of your business. You make your decisions. You get to decide how you show up every day. You get to decide where you put your efforts. You get to decide where you take action or where you don't take action. So we have 2 exercises for you to help you discover a little bit about where you and your business are right now. The first exercise is a thought download. Basically, you grab a piece of paper or the worksheet we'll have in the show notes or your journal, and you free write. You free write about everything going on in your business. It's basically a brain dump. You write until the paper is full. You write about the good, the bad, the ugly, all the thoughts you're having about your business. No one's going to be looking. Yep. You aren't turning this in, so be as honest as possible. The second exercise is to make a list of your top 5 priorities you have for your business. Write them down in order of importance. For example, I want my business to rank first on Google in my hometown for branding photography. So think about what you did yesterday to move that priority forward. Did you do anything to work on these priorities? Start paying attention to the actions you take as it relates to how you think about your business. These 2 exercises are a great start to becoming self-aware about the present state of your business, what you think about your business, and what actions you're currently taking on a daily basis to realize the results you want for your business. Cool. I think that sums it up. Make sure you do them.
And again, I remember that nobody's watching you do this. So you don't have to turn this into anybody. Just let it flow. It's stream of consciousness.
Exactly.
You'd be surprised at some of the things that might come out on paper if you're just just let your hand go and just do this exercise. It's cathartic.
It is, and you do become more self-aware. And again, that's the point. The only way to move your business forward, change your life, is to start becoming self-aware and see what's going on.
So, all right. So that's it for today, and thank you so much. See you next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Cool.
Done.